Before I was 7 years old, my mother mainly raised me. My mother, she suffered from a mental disorder. It kind of made her extremely paranoid, and she ended up quitting her job. She cut her hair. She just went, out of control. She went crazy. So my father had to take custody of me when I was 7 years old, and I've been living with him ever since. Well, my father's name is Phillips Sr. He was a drug dealer and a drug user when I was young. Before I was 7 years old, he got incarcerated a few times. He was out there, like I said, living a life, running around with money in his pocket, getting into a lot of trouble. He told me that him and my grandfather committed a robbery together, and that was crazy because, when I see them now, it's hard for me to picture that life back then, but that's just what it was, back in those days. He called me one time and told me that he was locked up, and when I was young, I thought being locked up was like a horrible place. So, I dropped the phone and I started crying. But I never wanted to see my father as a bad person. So when he took custody of me, I was happy. I was extremely sad that my mother wasn't in the picture, but I knew that she was going through stuff. I had to get used to living with a man for the most part, as opposed to living with a woman. So that's a different energy, different vibe. So we had our little problems, but it was nothing so serious that I didn't respect him. My father feels that I made him into a man because when I came into his life, he had a responsibility to take care of me. He couldn't just run around and, do what he wanted to do, run from job to job or whatever. When I came into his life, I forced him to settle down, be strict. He knew that he had to have a roof over his head for me to have a roof over my head. So he went back to school. He graduated from Baltimore City Community College. He graduated from Morgan State University. So I forced him to grow up, even though he didn't really want to. And it was hard. I can see the struggle because I can tell that, this is a big, not a burden per se, it's a blessing, but it's still something that was kind of unexpected. And, everything takes a transition, especially raising a child. So I commend him for that. I definitely compare my father to Malcolm X because when Malcolm X joined the Nation of Islam, he started to become disciplined. He started giving back to his community. He started being vocal about issues, and he became, that figure, and that many people looked up to. So that's what my father is today, my modern day Malcolm X. If I had to give a message to my dad, it would just be thank you, because I know it was a struggle raising me. It was a struggle, being a man. I just see his transition, and it's so great, and I'm just blessed to have that figure to look up to. I don't have to rely on people on TV or, people in school or whatever. Like, I already have a figure of manhood. He already set the bar, so I'm blessed to have that.